This is a video that I have been meaning to make for a long time, that a lot of people have been asking for, and that I have talked a little bit about multiple times now. So finally, let's dive into it. Guild Wars 3, what could it be, and what does it mean for me? For anyone who may be new to my channel, I love Guild Wars 2. Maybe a little too much, and I have a deep passion for the Guild Wars franchise as a whole. Over the almost 14 years that I have been playing Guild Wars 2, I have taken some short breaks here and there, but I always return and always continue to play the game a lot. It has been one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite, and it is the game that I have played the most out of any other game ever. I've made hundreds of YouTube videos about Guild Wars 2, have been active on the subreddit and other social medias. I have played every update as it has released since 2012. I've streamed the game on multiple platforms. I talk about it with all my friends and family. I own Guild Wars 2 merch. I've played a ton of the original Guild Wars, and I've even applied for the ArenaNet partner program multiple times, even if I've been denied each time. I just love this game and this franchise as a whole, and with any potential Guild Wars 3 or whatever game ArenaNet will be making in the future, I will obviously be playing that game as well. Guild Wars 3 has been a topic of debate ever since Guild Wars 2 released, and probably even before then. Several years ago, when ArenaNet was working on a bunch of random potential games to release, the buzz around a potential Guild Wars 3 was very high. But a couple years ago, when the idea of Guild Wars 3 was officially greenlit for the studio, the talk of a potential Guild Wars 3 took off again, but people still knew that a greenlight did not necessarily mean full development. But now, with ArenaNet doing two massive things and not doing one massive thing, people are constantly talking about the potential for a Guild Wars 3 again. For anyone out of the loop, let's go over those three ideas. First, ArenaNet has been hiring a lot of people for an unannounced project with a Guild Wars narrative. Now, first and foremost, this could be anything. We know they were working on some mobile offshoots several years ago, and they could create any Guild Wars game that is not an MMORPG or a sequel to Guild Wars 2. I've talked about how cool a Guild Wars RTS game would be, but there could also be any number of genres that the Guild Wars IP would be good for, even an FPS game, though I don't know how the community would react. But out of everything, a Guild Wars 3 would make the most sense. ArenaNet has only ever made MMORPGs. There were rumors that they were working on the Horizon MMORPG, which was potentially then shifted to another studio, and if that is true, that means they were recently working on developing a brand new MMO. Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2 are known as revolutionary MMOs that had a massive impact on the genre as a whole, and a Guild Wars 3 could continue that idea. And at a time where MMO players are desperate for a new MMO, with lots of recent ones failing, it could be a perfect time for ArenaNet to create a new MMO. Second, ArenaNet has been hyping up the Guild Wars franchise a lot. ArenaNet historically has been, admittedly, and to say in kind of a harsh way, bad at marketing. Everyone knows how much I just gush about games I love, and that I hate talking about negative things, but even I have to admit that to some degree. They are by no means the worst, but they do have a negative track record. But very recently, ArenaNet has been doing a lot of stuff on a fundamental level that has been very good from a marketing point of view. Guild Wars Reforged is massive. It is, by all means, what one would consider a critical success, even if it hasn't caused the game to completely explode in popularity. The fact that Guild Wars is still getting updates is incredible, let alone massive updates, let alone content updates. It is absolutely incredible to see, has made people who only like Guild Wars incredibly happy, and has done a lot to promote the entire franchise alongside getting its name circulating more. Then, very recently, they announced that Guild Wars will be coming to mobile with crossplay, which I personally think is incredibly exciting, even if I won't be playing it because crossplay is only between first-party accounts and mobile and not on Steam, which is what I happen to play on. But this has a big chance to revitalize the game even more, fill up the cities and outposts, and just get the game's name out there more. Now third, the massive thing that ArenaNet has not been doing, and it is related to Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2, in my opinion, is in a great spot right now. I don't really have too many issues with the game. I'm loving the current expansion for the most part. We will be getting a new update very soon, and I still love the game as always. But what is happening with expansion number 7? We knew Visions of Eternity was coming 2 years before it released, but hypothetically, expansion 7 will be releasing in potentially 6 to 8 months, and we don't even have a confirmation that it is being developed. Well, a lot of people think that means Guild Wars 3 is coming, and we will not be getting expansion number 7. Now, first and foremost, maybe they're just waiting for their normal time to fully announce an expansion to announce its existence in the first place. Additionally, the two ideas can coexist. We could get a new expansion while also getting Guild Wars 3, but it does seem like the game is being set up in a way to really support the idea of Guild Wars 3. There are a lot of major features, changes, and balancing that has been done to support the idea of Guild Wars 2 ending its major development cycle as the studio transitions fully to a Guild Wars 3. Of course, there are still a lot of changes that will need to happen to fully support that, and I'm planning on making a video about that in the future. Additionally, without saying too many spoilers, the Visions of Eternity expansion could be setting up the story to be able to easily transition linearly into a Guild Wars 3, and I think that will be very interesting to see. I will also mention that a Guild Wars 3 doesn't necessarily have to happen in the future, and it could be a game that takes place before the original Guild Wars, or even in the time between Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2. But with the potential story that we see coming out of the Visions of Eternity, it would make sense for it to take place sometime after Guild Wars 3. And just like Evergreen updates, I want to make a video diving into this a little bit more in the future as well. So with everything combined, the marketing, the lack of marketing, the recent updates, the hiring, the potential story direction, Guild Wars 3 does seem to be likely. If I were to guess, and also hope, I think we will see the Visions of Eternity expansion story continue, and then in the summer we will see an official announcement about Guild Wars 3 alongside the future of Guild Wars 2. To speculate, we will see the Visions of Eternity story conclude, and then hopefully we will get another Living World style season of updates that feature stories similar in vibes to Guild Wars Beyond, where we can experience a handful of stories that wrap up some Guild Wars 2 stories and kickstart some Guild Wars 3 stories to transition between the two games' narratives. Then normally, we'll see an advertising campaign related to Guild Wars 3, hopefully including a Movement of the World 2.0 that will happen during all of this up to the launch of Guild Wars 3. As for me, what will I be doing? As far as Guild Wars 2, and I guess Guild Wars as well, I'll still be playing the game and making a lot of content. Even after Guild Wars 3 releases, I'll definitely still be playing and will likely continue making content for some time. Just because Guild Wars 3 released doesn't mean we can't play Guild Wars 2 and make videos about that. We saw that be true with Guild Wars 2's release in addition to the original Guild Wars. But in addition to anything I do for Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2, I'll definitely be talking about and speculating about Guild Wars 3, and once a Guild Wars 3 launches, I'll obviously be diving deep into that game, likely playing the game for thousands of hours, and likely making hundreds of videos for it, just like I have with Guild Wars 2. I always have a little bit of a weird moment when people talk about not being excited for games that are releasing in the modern day, when I personally get excited over so many games. I've been absolutely obsessed with Lofty recently, and I am so excited for the full release of the game, and I am excited to continue making videos about it, just like how I am excited to continue playing and making videos about so many other games. Just like how I am excited for whatever is coming next in the Guild Wars franchise. When it comes to a lot of major games, I am always a little skeptical and like to wait a little bit before buying the game, just in case the game ends up being very bad. But there are definitely some games that I am just so passionate about where I will be instantly buying and playing the game on release. The Elder Scrolls 6 is a good example of a game that I will be playing even if it is good or bad. If it's good, I'll be playing that game a ton, but even if it is bad, I'll still play the game a little and won't regret my purchase just because of how much I personally want to try it out. Guild Wars 3 is another example. No matter what, I will be playing this game as soon as I can, even if it ends up being an absolutely awful game. I will likely still play it for a little bit and will still make some videos about it. And if it ends up being an incredible game, it will probably become one of my all-time favorite games, just like Guild Wars 2. Given ArenaNet's track record with Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2 being phenomenal games, I personally have zero doubts about the studio's ability to create a brand new MMO and making it a phenomenal, genre-defining game. Hopefully, my trust isn't misplaced. I think for the sake of the genre as a whole and anyone who likes MMOs, I hope my trust isn't misplaced. But all in all, I am just along for the journey. I'm excited to see if Guild Wars 3 is actually real, or if we will be getting some other games in the Guild Wars franchise, like a biopic-style point-and-click game highlighting the adventures of Rithok Brimstone, while he has to explain to the Legions why he is a Revenant during Living World Season 3, which actually, joking aside, I would be playing that game too. But I would love to hear what your initial thoughts about the potential of a Guild Wars 3 is, because I would love to hear and I would love to consider people's ideas as I create more videos related to the potential of a Guild Wars 3 and the potential end of Guild Wars 2's major development cycle. There is definitely a lot of interesting stuff to think about, but I think the most important thing to recognize is that truly no one has any idea about what is happening with a potential Guild Wars 3. We can speculate and have fun, but we won't truly ever know until we know. And it's important to recognize that maybe what we think is going to happen won't be happening, and that is completely okay. We all may be emotionally invested in the future of the Guild Wars franchise. Whatever happens, happens. Everyone plays an MMORPG knowing that the development cycle will eventually end, and that the servers will one day go offline. And as long as Guild Wars 2 isn't completely ruined, and as long as the servers stay up for a long time to come, like what we've seen with the original Guild Wars, a Guild Wars 3 is completely okay to see, and I feel like could only ever be exciting. And those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed. These are a lot of random ideas jammed together into what is hopefully a cohesive video about the future of the Guild Wars franchise. Like I said, please leave your thoughts below in the comments and subscribe if you want to follow me along for any future Guild Wars 3 stuff. I hope you all are taking great care of yourselves. Have a good one, everyone.